right, so like I mentioned, we would get back into inspections, and we'll just kind of tip of the iceberg this one, just because everything that could be in here is so property specific, and everything could be changed so much depending on what each agent and client feels comfortable with. And so, yeah, like I said, we'll stick with the most amount of rights that you can maintain from the contract to the least amount of rights, which would obviously be waiving the entire inspection. So what does all that mean? So inspection objection means that you have the right, as the buyer, you didn't waive your right to object to anything with the seller. So you could ask for cosmetics, you could ask for health or safety, anything you want. This doesn't mean that the seller has to accept any of that. They can take some, all of it, whatever. It just means you didn't waive your right to object to any of it. So the next least amount of rights, I suppose, that you could have that's common right now is inspection is for health or safety only. And this, I would say this is the most common thing going on in our market right now. And that means that you would only object to health or safety items only. So radon, that's one of the most common things here in Colorado, which is a carcinogen that comes out of the ground, and we like to do passive or active mitigation systems. So that's super common. Sellers are usually willing to do that. Another example would be, exposed nails in surfaces that could be contacted by people or kids, or any number of things. But health or safety is pretty obvious. Then we'll move on to the next one. And then the next two are very similar. You could structure them a little differently if you wanted. One would be buying the home in as is, and one would be inspection is for termination only. And that's really at request of the seller, but they kind of mean the same thing. Termination only means you can inspect for your knowledge as the buyer, and then terminate if it doesn't work for you, or just choose to accept what's wrong with it. And as is usually a little bit more. Sometimes sellers push back on the inspection, but usually, like I said, pretty same. And then again, the last one we talked about is completely waiving inspection, and I would never advise a client of this. I think it's a terrible idea. I know we're in a really competitive market, but try and keep some of your inspection rights in that contract.